welcome to The Great Beyond. I'm here with Jason Doyle.
Hello.
Hi, JD. So, off the top of the show, in case you haven't listened to No Dunks or don't listen, on September 30th, about 2 weeks ago, our friend and colleague and family member, Tass Mellis, suffered a very serious injury. He was hit by a car leaving a baseball game. He was on foot. And at first it was very dire.
Yes.
Very severe, very fucking scary. You called to tell me about it the night that it happened. And we were all obviously very, very freaked out and very scared for Tass and his family. Mm-hmm. And I can say that the good news is, the top line is that even though it was a very severe accident, I would say that things are looking up. He's made a ton of improvement since it happened.
Yes.
He's out of the ICU,
mm-hmm.
which is great to hear. Now, I don't want to go too much into the medical part because obviously I'm in LA. I'm not in Atlanta right now. I haven't had a chance to see Tass, but I am going down in a couple weeks from now to see him. I know you have, so if there's anything you want to say about seeing him, go ahead. But, again, I don't want to get too much into the doctor's parts. Frankly, I don't really know. I don't know directly from a doctor, obviously, any kind of prognosis. I don't know if they're able to give a prognosis.
Yeah.
We're dealing with the brain, and frankly, the doctors don't even know what the fuck is going on in the brain. They can make certain guesses, but really as a whole, as to what brain trauma is, as to what a concussion is, the jury is still out on a lot of stuff.
Right.
And not just for Tass, but just in general. I mean, I know I have some experience, nothing nearly in the ballpark as severe as what has happened to Tass.
Right.
But frankly, you go in for symptoms related to concussions, and the doctors are like, this is what we kind of think, but,
right.
we don't really know for sure.
Yeah.
So I know you did see Tass. Is there anything that you want to say about that?
I mean, yeah, I saw him yesterday, and it was obviously great to see him. I've seen him twice. I saw him last week when he was still in the ICU, and the progress that he's made is actually incredible, to be honest. Like, when I saw him yesterday, he was getting up, he was walking around. He is getting back to himself. He's not quite there yet. He's still dealing with a lot of confusion. He's come to grips with how he got there, although I think he doesn't quite believe it. When he talks about it now, it's like he's reciting what Danielle, his wife, has told him, and he says it with an air of, I know I'm not buying it, but this is what has been told to me, and this is why I'm here. But he's made incredible progress. He's nowhere near out of the woods yet. Aside from the head injury, he's had some other issues. The guy got hit by a car. So obviously he's dealing with a lot. Honestly, from my perspective, I'm still getting over the gut punch of finding out about it, like as we all are. But yeah, the report is that he's doing well, and I think that he's moving out of the hospital and into like a rehab, like an inpatient rehab center or something like that. So, we'll keep everybody updated on this feed and the No Dunks feed moving forward. But yeah, I mean, scary stuff.
Well, I'm so happy to hear that things are going better. It's funny because when you're so removed from it as I am,
yeah,
and you're just getting text updates, it is really hard to figure out what's going on. And then you hear a piece of good news, but then you sort of close your eyes and picture. I mean, I think we've all seen someone in a hospital.
Yeah.
I know my mother had a serious accident when I was probably about 13 years old, and she was in the hospital in a full body cast, and I mean, I'll never forget that. I was very young, but that memory sticks out.
Yeah.
Anyways, you see someone in the hospital, it's fucking frightening.
Totally.
And sure, it's like, oh, he's being more verbal now, he's talking more now, he has more awareness of what's going on now. But then you close your eyes and picture, all the tubes and needles that are probably in his arm, and just Jesus, what is the rest of his body looks like.
Right.
And it's hard. It's great to think of the positive stuff, but I just want everyone to know this isn't we're being positive given the circumstances, but this is a long road. It's going to be a long road.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, this freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah.
I mean, you told me on Wednesday when you had found out, and I didn't leave the house for, like, I'm not exaggerating, for 5 days, 6 days I didn't leave the house. I mean, obviously it's very, I don't have kids. I mean, took out the dog for a walk, but
Right.
I was in no mood. I mean, that's why we haven't done the show in a long time, because the show aims to be lighthearted and funny, and the last thing I felt like doing was being lighthearted and funny.
Yeah.
And this was really my first you never know moment.
Yeah.
Everyone is always saying, it's such a cliche, but it's like, you never know. So, live life to the fullest.
Right.
And nothing is promised. And tell everyone you love them, because you just don't. I mean, pick any cliche that you want, that you've heard all your life. Obviously, I've lost people I love that are very close to me, but in ways where it's, going to happen, frankly, because of old age.
Right.
And this was my first moment, my first real moment where it hit me that nothing is promised.
That's
and
true. Yeah.
As much of a cliche it is, god damn it if it's not fucking true.
Yeah. Like,
and
just
then you just think of, like,
yeah, just the
just go ahead.
just the, like, just how your life can change in an instant, right? And not just, I mean, obviously Tass's life and Danny's life and his kids' life, but just the ripple effect of everybody around him is just like, oh my God. Like, I am very confident that Tass is going to make a full recovery, but in a way, like, he'll never be the same because this thing happened to him. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah,
it's just
of
like,
course.
and it's like you sort of hug your kids a little tighter that night, kind of thing. And I know that I've been dropping my kids off at various things that they've been doing, and I'm like so fucking paranoid now about where I'm dropping them so they don't have to cross the street, like, just, but yeah, it's just the fleeting nature of life. And you always sort of, the last time we talked like this was, we had a colleague of ours was killed in a car accident while we were at Summer League. I don't know if you remember that.
I've been thinking about that too.
This woman, Joy, who we worked with every day, like, she sat next to me every day, and it was a single car accident, and all of a sudden she was just gone from our lives, and her life was over. And we really don't know what happened. And that's another thing here about the Tass. We actually don't know what happened. All we know is that he was hit by a car. And
we know it wasn't a hit and run.
We know it was a hit. It wasn't a hit and run, and the driver is cooperating. But there was a lot of anger, obviously. I mean, I was angry, But the simple fact is that we have no idea what happened. Tass certainly doesn't. He doesn't remember it at this point, and who knows if he ever will. But yeah, it's all the cliches. Live your life like. Because you never know. You never know. This guy, he went to a Braves game. As he loves baseball. He went to a Braves game, and he parked very far from the park, so he had a mile walk, and he was crossing the street, and he got hit by a car. What happened? We're not sure. Who's to blame? It really doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Like,
no, I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And it's, you mentioned Joy. That's something I was thinking about too. Because I remember when it happened, we were colleagues with her. We certainly weren't close to her, I mean, that's, sorry, this is so scattered, but that's another thing. It's like, I think about how, I've lived away from you guys for 4 years at this point.
Yeah.
But from 2010 to 2019, or 2009 to 2019, I would say, for me at least, for 10 years, I saw Tass more than anyone, more than his family, right? Like, we're working at Turner, we're going, we're there for 8, 9, 10, sometimes 10 hours a day.
Yep.
The six of us at the time, we were all seeing each other more than our families were, especially because in most cases our families weren't even living in Atlanta. And once, that bond gets sort of solidified, and the bond of the show, and just all that time we've spent together. It's like, fuck, this feels like a family member.
Totally good.
And Jesus, I know his kids, and obviously Danielle's wife, and like, it's impossible not to think about the kids. This is a guy who's in the prime of his life. Thank God he was healthy as can be, and that will, I'm sure, help him in his recovery. But prime of his life, whatever, got the world by the balls,
Yeah.
He's got this great job, amazing wife, amazing kids. And it was just impossible not to think about how this completely upends everything, and not just his life, but their lives too.
Yeah.
Sorry. So back to the Joy thing. Like I said, we didn't know her very well. So when it happened, all we were getting was work emails saying she's been in a car accident. Yes, it is serious. No information on whether you can visit her yet, but
Right.
we'll keep you posted, and we're hoping for the best. And you're like, okay, that sounds terrible, but
Yeah.
okay, And then the updates kept coming through, and it was like, okay, still not taking visitors, but blah blah. And then one day, the email was just, we're sad to tell you the news that Joy has passed.
Well, it
Like,
was
holy
worse
fuck.
than that, actually, because the email was basically like, she's being taken off life support. Like that was the news that we got. And we were in the middle of summer league, and she was supposed to be there with us. And, she was beloved. And like, I can't describe how it was that day. I mean, they had grief counselors coming in, and it was absolutely brutal for sure.
Yeah, so you think of that, and you don't want to think of that, but you get the report of like a, brain trauma and bleeding, internal bleeding, and I really, really, really tried not to think negatively at all. But I mean, it is part of my nature. That's what I do. I think of worst case scenarios,
Yeah.
and I couldn't function.
Yeah.
Until I start to hear like, okay, he's, we can't say he's going to be okay, but, we know that he's getting better.
Yes.
Incrementally.
Yeah.
But God, it was so fucking rough. Like just picturing him there.
Yeah.
There was one detail where he didn't know his name, when he was first got there. And I don't know why. Every time I thought of that, I just started crying.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
that idea of how thin our connection to the world is, but our connection to ourselves is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. For sure. I mean, it's that part was scary. He didn't know Danny's name. But he's better. He's getting better. Like I was sitting with Tess yesterday, we were laughing and joking around. Were there moments of confusion? Absolutely. But he's on the mend. So you're going to feel way better when you see him.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yes, and I am going to see him. I don't know, how did you feel like, or how do you feel just in general when there is sad news, from people close to you? Like, do you feel guilty if like you find yourself laughing or, having fun, and then it hits you and you're like, is this okay? Should I be? Like, I was thinking about it a lot because I was, like I said, really, really sad. I was in a huge funk. I mean, again, I know this isn't about me, but I think it is helpful to just talk about how it hits you and how it affects you.
Yeah.
I was like, does it make a difference to be sad? Like, obviously he doesn't know if I'm happy or sad. It's not going to, I'm not magical thinking here. I'm not thinking that if I'm super sad that it's going to affect him in any way. But like, I was thinking like, oh, should I post this thing about the show to Instagram? Like, I don't know. I was like, God forbid if Danielle on like 1 minute of downtime needs some mind-numbing thing to do and turns on Instagram, is like that going to be offensive that there's other people out there that are like living quote unquote normally?
Right.
Anyways, I don't know. Did this calculus enter your brain at all?
Well, I'm incapable of feeling guilt, so I mean I mean, especially with Tass. If Tass found out that I had canceled plans or something because he was in the hospital, knowing that I can't do anything and I can't see him, Tass would be pissed. He would be annoyed. He's like, why the fuck would you do that? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you know, we went, the first thing that we did after Tass was in the hospital, we went to Major League Pickleball. There, we had tickets to go see this fucking tournament. So we went to an event. And I kind of felt guilty about it for 10 seconds. And I was like, what am I, you know, it's not like at the time we couldn't get in to see him anyways. And it's Tass. He wouldn't care. And yeah, that kind of thing it doesn't really bother me. But what freaks me out about it is just the nature of life. Like, I have 2 kids. They're very busy schedules, and life just has to march on. So if I'm putting myself in Tass's position and I'm like, fucking the whole, you know, is that existential, like, the world is just going to go on without me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. That's almost like a comfort to me, just knowing that, hey, when my time comes, everything's just going to go on without me. That's it. And that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about you, and I kind of figured that because you do have 2 kids and the obligations persist no matter what is happening externally to you, that you would be sad, but you would, by pure obligation, just have to get out of your shell and have to leave the house and have to do normal stuff, pick up the kids, make dinner for them. And, you know, because I don't have kids and I do have a lifestyle where I can completely recede into myself and I don't have obligations and I'm like, well, I have to go do that. Yeah, you know, I guess I just spiraled out, and I know it's not a good thing. But that's just where I've fucking been. And it's only in the last few days where I've been like, okay, he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
It's not going to add anything to anyone's life for me to be, you know, walk around, you know, crazy heavy-hearted. But obviously, as I said, I'm going to be in Atlanta in the next 2 weeks. As far as the show goes, we just kind of wanted to ease back into it with a Great Beyond where it was just me and JD. And that's all that's going to happen this week. But then starting next week on Monday, there will be a regular Is This Good episode with Skeets. And that will be the last episode that is in both our feeds. So if you're listening to this, well, to listen to this, you have to have been subscribed to this new feed. So I guess you're safe here. Tass, we love you. I can't wait to see you. I know, like JD said, that you are going to get through this. You're strong as hell. You're stubborn as hell. And you have an amazing support system around you. I know you're getting excellent care.
And he'll probably come out of this, knowing Tass, he'll probably come out of this better looking, which will be very annoying.
I know he'll end up with some kind of like scar that adds character that people are like, ooh, that's interesting. Who's that mysterious man?
I can't believe he's got a cooler story to tell.
He's gonna have to be. No, sorry, go ahead.
I can't believe he had a really cool injury story when he broke his femur playing softball. But now it
wasn't cool at all. He broke a femur playing like slow-pitched men's beer league softball. What was cool about that?
I don't know. It's just kind of a cool sort of, you know.
It was funny.
It's fun. Well, it wasn't funny at the time. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But no, he is going to be fine. So thanks also to everyone that's reached out and left comments. I know Tass is in your thoughts and in your hearts, and I'm sure he appreciates that.
Yeah, the outpouring of support and all it, like, we set up a GoFundMe for him and his family, just as a place for people to go and leave their thoughts and whatever. I haven't checked it in a long time, but the amount of support and love that came out of that was like so heartwarming, and I couldn't even read it because you know how I don't like to be in touch with my feelings. But I know Skeets was reading. Rachel was reading. Are you reading this? She's like bawling her eyes out, and I'm like, no, thank you. I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks to everybody.
Yeah, thanks to everyone. So that's the update. We'll do a quick little break, aka palate cleanser, and then on the other side we will dip our toes in the water of talking about the most insignificant, dumb bullshit that you've heard for your entertainment and hopefully for our entertainment as well. So we'll see you on the other side. All right, welcome back. JD, thank you so much for coming this week. It is good to speak to you and see your face. Did anything good or not good happen to you this week?
Well, I had another stupid argument with my wife. Are you ready for this one?
As long as it doesn't involve pickleball, I am ready for it.
Yeah, no, there's no pickleball in this.
Okay, perfect.
She thinks that Twix is a cookie. Mm-hmm. So that's my question to you. Is Twix a cookie? Because my entire life, I've called it a chocolate bar. A chocolate bar with a cookie crunch.
Look, if she thinks it's a cookie, then, I mean, if that is true, what else is true? Then I do have to ask her, does she think that Twix is made in two different factories, one where they make the left Twix and one where they make the right Twix? Because if she says yes, then we can immediately throw her opinion out the window.
Right, exactly. Okay, thank you. I feel good.
Well, have you read the definition of Twix? Like, did you do a Google?
Well, no, because I didn't think I had to, and actually...
No, you don't have to, but I just want to hear how they describe
Well,
their
here's
product.
a bombshell for you, because I looked at the package, and it says on the package, a cookie bar. So...
Cookie bar?
Yeah, like it said, a cookie bar. Like Twix, a cookie bar. Very small print, but probably they're...
almost like they're embarrassed about it.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? I know you people are going to argue about this, so we're just going to throw this in there. Like, it's not a chocolate bar. They're calling it a cookie bar. But, of course, like, it's not like on a O. Henry or a Mars bar or a Snickers, it says a chocolate bar. Right?
I think it's a chocolate bar. I mean, you can... Like, for instance... No, this actually goes against my point. Because, they have those Oreos that are covered in chocolate?
Yeah.
So, from the outside, it looks kind of like a chocolate bar, but a circle. That's still a cookie, obviously.
Well, it's a circle.
But it is covered in chocolate.
And it's a circle.
So, it can't be a bar, you're saying?
Well, a bar is a bar, and a circle is a circle. And
Okay, a bar is a bar, a circle is a circle.
Now, they do have wafer, like, okay, is a Nutty Buddy...
So, peppermint patty is, if I say... can you go pick me up a chocolate bar? And you say, what do you want? I say peppermint patty. You say, sorry, that's not a bar. Does not compute.
Okay, all right. Touche.
I mean, this definitional stuff, this goes back to the argument that I used to have with you guys in the office where we did spend many hours together.
Yes.
I was always maintained that chocolate or chocolate bars were not candy. They were chocolate.
Right.
Right? Now people said, well, they're called a candy bar. I said, do this thought experiment. You're going to the convenience store. You're going to 7-Eleven. You say, what do you want? I say, well, I got a bit of a sweet tooth today. You're like, okay, yeah, well, what are you into? And I say, I don't know, just bring me back some candy. Right. And if you bring me back chocolate-covered almonds or a Twix bar,
yeah,
I'm going to be pissed because when I say I want candy, I mean
Skittles.
Swedish Fish,
yeah.
Sour Patch Kid, Skittles, yeah, candy.
Right.
If I wanted chocolate, I would have said, bring me chocolate.
Right.
Now, I know it is called a candy bar, but again, I got to go back to it. A seahorse, it's not a horse. So I do think that this is a chocolate bar. It's not really that controversial to me.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
It's just like, it's just in the same way that like a Mars bar is not nougat.
Right. It's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not it's just nougat.
It's not, but then again, there's not something called a nougat.
Right.
I'd like a nougat. Pass me the nougat, please. Okay, peanuts. A chocolate bar that has peanuts in it.
Yeah.
It's not peanuts.
You're right.
It's a chocolate bar.
Exactly.
It's been reconstituted. So, Rachel, you are bang my John Hodgman gavel. Get out of here.
Consider it settled.
So basically, it's not... Another way you know is that cookies, like store-bought cookies, like an Oreo, a Chips Ahoy, whatever those Keebler Elves are up to, those come in very different packaging. They come in sleeves.
Right.
You know, the cookies are all lined up.
Right.
A chocolate bar is a chocolate bar.
Right.
Comes in a package of its own... I was going to say choosing, but I'm really... losing the plot here. Yeah, but no, I don't think this is very controversial. Yeah, it's not a chocolate.
You're saying that you're basically...
I mean, it is a chocolate bar.
It is a It is a chocolate bar. And cookie is an ingredient in the chocolate bar. I will say, if somebody offered me said, hey, do you want a cookie, and brought out a plate of like Twixes, I'd be thrilled. I would be absolutely thrilled. Because one thing we can all agree on...
Okay, no. Yeah, fuck. You see, you got me fucked up here because you're right. If the Twix were out of the package and you didn't know what they were, like let's say someone's bringing you a sampler platter. There's ladyfingers covered in chocolate. Those are definitely cookies. There's all sorts of like digestifs that are covered in chocolate. Yeah. Those are cookies.
Yeah.
There's... What else you got? Like those... like a tea biscuit. You know what I'm talking about? You're British. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those are covered in chocolate, and they're all in different shapes. Some are circular, some are rectangular, like in the shape of a cookie. Some are long and rectangular, like a ladyfinger, which a Twix would fit. So really, if it was just on a plate, is a Twix that different than a ladyfinger? And I hope not everyone's commenting like, the fuck is a ladyfinger, you fucking Commonwealth assholes. I'm going to look it up and make sure that it is a thing that people here would eat.
Well, here.
Okay, I mean... Well, I don't know what I would do. I'm just Googling, and I'm seeing pictures of ladyfingers.
Right.
Maybe ladyfingers isn't even what I mean now that I'm looking at them.
They're just...
But there are long, thin, finger-like cookies.
Yes.
That are covered completely in chocolate. And if you put a Twix next to it, it would look the same.
Okay,
and you bite into it, and you say, there is cookie in here.
Yeah, but that falls into the category of the Oreo dipped in chocolate, right? It's the majority of that food is cookie. There's just chocolate around it.
Sir, may I approach the bench?
Yes, please.
I feel like at a congressional hearing, I'm just talking very quietly into the mic. Yes, I do have some more evidence that I'd like to present in favor of the cookie. Okay, here we go. If the filling that's inside the chocolate can stand on its own, if it is already a thing on its own, then it can be a cookie.
Right.
So if an Oreo is inside the chocolate covering, hey, guess what? An Oreo is already a cookie. If you stripped off the chocolate of a Twix, I'm sorry, but that's not a cookie, and it didn't exist as that before it was covered in chocolate. Because then it's like saying you can get a wafer cookie, so you're telling me that a Kit Kat is also a cookie? Because if you stripped off the chocolate, which some freaks do, they like to suck on it like a lollipop until it slowly fades away.
Wow.
Yeah, this is going to be a weird gif from what I just did, but that's okay. Look, that's the risk you take when you start video podcasts.
That's exactly
You're going to do weird things. You're going to make it look like you are filleting someone at least once a show, but that's what we have to do. So there we go. Obviously, a Kit Kat is not a cookie. Obviously, a Twix is not a cookie because the interior did not previously exist as a cookie.
Right. Okay.
I rest my case.
Settled. I mean, but chime in, everybody. Settled. Chime in. Let us know.
Chime in. Let us know. So the one, I mean, well, I hesitate to say good thing, but I have not barely left the house in 2 weeks. So I have been watching a lot of television.
Okay.
And much earlier than expected, I did what I promised to do, and I rewatched The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, all of them?
All of them with two caveats. One, I didn't watch the extended versions because the time on the Max app, like I was like, oh, okay, this is the extended one because it's like 3 hours and 8 minutes, let's say, on the Fellowship.
Yeah.
And then I see next to it extended version. I'm like, oh, so how long is that? And it's like 4 hours. It's like an extra hour. And even I remembered look, I rewatched these movies so people wouldn't be angry anymore about all the mistakes that we've made about them. But I realized that in talking about it, I'm just going to make them angry all over again. But one of the things that I remembered from the first movie was the Shire stuff is long at the start of the Fellowship. It takes a while to get going. And I don't know where they're adding that extra hour in, but if they're adding any of it to that, I don't want to see it. It's already padded enough.
Yeah.
So I went for just the regulars, and then I did fall asleep in the last 30 minutes of The Return of the King.
Right. So
which I was okay with because from what I remember, it ends 7 times.
Exactly.
And you're like, I wish this would have ended. So I think my brain did a director's cut. It just said, no,
yep, we're done here.
You're going to sleep. We're done here. Anyways, good movies, though. Good movies. So
really?
if you've been upset, just
are
know
you saying that just to appease people, or are you serious?
Yeah. Well, they're not bad. They're not bad.
No, they're not bad at all. But you weren't a fan of the books, though. You never read the books.
I read The Hobbit in the 5th grade.
Okay. Well, that's not Lord of the Rings.
That's why I thought it was 500 pages long, which is an argument we had last time we spoke to each other. Okay, here's just a couple things I'll say.
Okay.
Well, first of all, the practical effects still look fucking great.
Yeah.
Like all the Hobbit stuff and how they're small looks great. The CGI stuff, like the trees, the ants, they look a little rough, I will say.
Well, I mean,
from the perspective of today.
What year are we talking?
I think the first one was 2001.
Okay, so that's a 20-year-old movie.
It's 20-year-olds. No, it's not your fault, Peter.
Yeah.
Peter, if you're listening, Get Back. I don't know how you did it. The 8 hours of Get Back, I'll watch an extended version of that, actually, Peter.
Well, apparently there's a 32-hour version of that. But
oh, really? That's too much. Okay,
that's a lot. It's a lot of dicking around.
we shall not grow old, Peter. Okay, so we can't be watching a 32 hours of Get Back. So, and then I will also say, and this is just a problem I have with fantasy in general, which is probably why I'm not a fantasy guy. Mm-hmm. What are their powers?
Yeah.
I scream inside my brain as I watch this. Mm-hmm. Now, there's so much fucking exposition in these movies. It's not like I want more, but would it kill them in passing? Gandalf, what can you do?
Right.
Just let us know what you can do so that it will add to the dramatic tension when I'm like, oh, fuck, Gandalf can't do that. So they're really in a jam here.
Yeah.
But I never know if he's just going to be able to, like, dive 1,000 meters into a cave, punching a Balrog in the face, and then jump onto the roof and then fight him there. And then sometimes he can use his staff to, like, just like, whoom, swat like thousands of people out of the way. And then there was this part where they're in Gondor, I want to say.
Okay.
Still not, details are fuzzy. And he tells one of the hobbits, like, hey, the king doesn't want to get involved in the war, but why don't we surreptitiously go light the
torch thing,
turret,
yes,
so that all the other towns, like, it's an emergency signal, right? So you send out, because Gandalf, he doesn't have FaceTime, right? He can't communicate. You would think that maybe he could do some like mind melding with someone, but he can't do that. So the only system of communication is we light this fire. The next town over sees the fire. They go, oh shit, they need help. We're going to war. They light their fire. The next town over sees that fire, and so on and so on. And that's how you tell people anything.
But in the first one, he just talked to a bug, a little moth, and eagles came to the rescue. So what the hell? He could have just done that, right? Like,
well, there we go.
Tell the nearest butterfly.
You're making my point for me.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm 100%.
No, this is my point. You need to let me finish this point.
Okay,
because
finish.
There's never been anything more important than I've said. He has to get the Hobbit to sneak his way, like climb up the side of the thing, and then while the people aren't paying attention, the Hobbit has to light the fire.
Right.
You're telling me Gandalf can't point his staff at the fire from like below and just have it zounk go on fire?
Yeah.
And then when they're like, "Who did you do that?" He'll be like, "No, it wasn't me."
He's probably got a spell.
But you lit it up the fire. It wasn't me. Saw you talking to the eagle. It wasn't me. So this is what I'm saying. Tell us what you can and can't do, because now, like, why am I invested in, like, oh no, we got to with the Hobbit. The Hobbit's got to have his moment here.
Yeah.
And notice I'm saying the Hobbit because I do forget if it was Merry or Pippin.
Yeah. No idea.
It's hard to keep them Mary is the worst one, right? The one that was later in Lost. He's definitively the worst Hobbit. Is what I came. The
How
conclusion
so?
I came
How
to.
so?
He's just the most boring one, and he doesn't do anything. I think he might light this fire. That might be.
Okay.
Oh, and then he gets like the woman, the princess, that ends up killing the ring wraith. You know,
Yeah.
he rides into battle with her.
Oh, yes.
He helps her out.
Well, that's pretty cool, isn't it? No, Mary's the worst one because he's the one that had to. He was in. He got roped into indentured servitude because the stupid king saved his life or something. Oh God, they're gonna come after me again. I know it. Fuck.
Well, let's move on.
Can I just say that I agree with? I agree with you 100% about the magic stuff. Magic takes me out of everything, like the Star Wars,
but it doesn't have
Jedi
to.
shit.
Just tell us the rules.
There's too many rules. There's
like
too
Jedi,
much.
you know, they can move stuff with their mind.
But there's more. There's always more. There's Jedis that are coming back to life. There's like this whole nether realm of stuff. If Esha was here, he'd be glaring at me right now just because I don't know the actual terms for it. And the same, like the Harry Potter stuff, I never got into because magic is just like, it's just a never-ending bunch of shit that they can do. They just pull it out of their.
You were also in your
ass.
30s when Harry Potter came out, so
yeah, but I don't
really think it was for you.
Kids. I don't know.
You never read it to them?
Yeah, I read them.
Oh,
so
okay. Well,
the books are all right. But again, it's like, oh, it's all magic. It's like, all right, who cares?
Yeah, when it's convenient for JK to be like, you know, oh, this will be more dramatic if he can't do this thing, and then they have to find another way that's not magic to defeat this person or to accomplish this goal or this mission.
Right.
But when JK wants to move the plot along, it's just Revelio, Revelioso.
Yeah, exactly. And in the
Harry Potter Italian restaurant. Okay, that's my pitch for you. No. Arrabbiata. And then it just poof appears on your table.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
Carbonara.
We're gonna have the Harry Potter heads after us now too.
Well, that's fine. Jill's been fucking playing that PS4 game, and all I hear when she's playing it is Protego, Protego, Protego.
Is that her talking, or is it the character on the?
No, it's the character. But you know how like when I start a game, you know the part where like, you could pick your character and make it look like whatever you want.
Yeah.
Immediate skip. I'm like, give me the most basic give me John Doe. I don't care. Let's just get going.
Yeah.
She spent so long, and it freaks me out. Like the person really looks like her.
Oh, she was trying to make it look like herself.
Yes.
Yeah, Jackson does the same.
Whoa.
His FIFA character looks exactly like him.
I know, it's
freaky.
It's weird. Yeah, it's like, God, love yourself much?
When I play a video game and I have the choice, I always play as a girl. I don't know what it is.
Interesting. Like I remember, I would do some turns as Chun-Li in the old Street Fighter.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've had the option to do that.
Maybe I just like looking at the ass the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, because you're always looking at
Well, that's why I want it to look like me. And then I go, wow.
I look good.
Fucking Avatar me is...
There's also a character
bussin'.
in GTA that looks a little bit like me. It's the only video game character.
Oh, Trevor?
Trevor, yeah.
The
Yeah, thanks for getting it right away.
Scraggly meth head?
That's right, yeah.
But he doesn't have a huge beard, though.
No, but there are similar features. We've got a similar body type.
Well, I think at the end of GTA 5, I did select the option to murder Trevor.
Aww.
I think that was... Sorry. So, bye. But, hey, when you were lying on the ground, I did look over as the blood pooled out of you, and I said, "Dead ass, though." All right, so I want to tell you about something else that I watched. But I guess my first question is, have you heard of a show called Naked Attraction?
No.
Okay, I'm so excited to tell you about it. So... I heard about it from the P-Hounds, actually.
Okay.
Go to patreon.com/isthisgood. You can join the Discord, and that's where the P-Hounds live. All right, so a show called Naked Attraction. It's a British show, but it is now on Max,
okay.
the streaming service.
Yeah.
And I think it's doing quite well. I think it was like a start off, no one knew what it was, not a lot of marketing done for it, but I think it is like now a top show on the streaming platforms. So here's what it is. The subject can be either a woman or a man, depending on the episode. But let's just say the first one, I only watched one episode. So is a woman. She's looking to date someone, looking to meet that special someone. So, of course, they have the early, here's what they, generally do. Here's them typing on a computer. And then that person comes onto a live soundstage with a host. There are 6 boxes on stage.
Okay.
And inside each of those boxes is a person, a man. And they have frosted glass on the front. So you can't see the men, but, they're in 6 boxes on stage. All right, here's what happens. Stage 1, they raise the panel on the front of the box to just above the pelvis. Okay? Much as the show's title promises, Naked Attraction, the whole premise is that everyone is naked. So it's 6 naked dudes.
Okay.
So the panel comes up, you see the cock, you see the balls, the panel stops. And now the host is just like, all right, what do you think?
Wait, are you as a viewer seeing everything?
You are seeing full cock, full balls.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. Okay, these freaks in the... these British freaks. We're so conservative. We think that Prince Charles is the divine right of kings, and Prince Harry wants to marry an actress. It's the greatest scandal in our country. But here, please look at 6 penises. But they're all like willies. What do you think of these willies? All right, so I will say, again, I watched one episode. Most notable thing you see on the first turn, where we're just seeing penis.
Yeah.
A man. Full tattoo of an elephant on his pelvis.
Okay.
So you got the ears and the eyes, and of course, the penis is the trunk.
Right. Love it.
Now, this guy also happened to have a prosthetic leg, but you barely notice he has a prosthetic leg because you're just looking at this penis trunk.
Right. So what about
that?
tusks?
Frankly, it looked proportional.
Wow. Good for him.
Yeah, it was very impressive. So now they're like, all right, what do you think? So now this woman has to make a decision on who to eliminate based on just seeing their penises.
Okay.
And boy, are they turning themselves into a knot to try not to just say, all right, well, that guy with the worst of the 6 penises, he's out of here.
Right.
So she votes a guy off, and the woman's like, why did you vote him off? And she's like, something in their stance. Something in the way they were standing. The fuck does that mean? But to me, this is the funniest part of the show. The funniest part of the show is after this first round, where they just eliminate one person out of 6. Right. And so then for that person, they raise the thing to the top. So you see his face. He walks out of the thing. He is naked. He gives the woman he's would have been dating a hug.
Right.
And
this is the reject.
Yeah, this is the reject.
Wow.
So now you see his full face, but that's the funniest part to me. You go on the show, you get rejected in the first 3 minutes, but now everyone's seen your penis, they've seen your face, and it's like, the voiceover is like, this is Mohammed. He's a computer science student from Newcastle. And then it cuts to a talking head of him, and he's like, yeah, I've never done anything like this before, but great experience. In what way could this have been a great experience? You risked everything and got no reward. Oh. Now everyone in your computer science class is like, we've seen his dong.
Yeah.
So he could be on TV for literally 3 minutes.
Yeah, but he must be proud of his dong a little bit. It's not like he just showed up and said, all right, guys, pants off. I didn't sign up for this. No, he wanted to show it. These are people, if they didn't have this outlet, they'd be on subways exposing themselves. So it's a win-win-win for everybody.
So you think this is perhaps a PSYOP, like a government program, like they're right. Over there at number 10 Downing and being like, we're having a lot of problems with people exposing themselves. What if we just gave them a platform where they could expose themselves to an entire country? Exactly. 2 countries now. Yep. God knows what other countries this is in.
It sounds worldwide. Yeah. So sorry, Mohammed, right. You're on a list automatically, I think, just by signing up.
Oh, now they're going to surveil him?
Yeah.
And just... Okay. Well, we move on to stage 2. So now the panel rises to just above the pecs. Okay. So now cock and ball still in play.
Yeah.
And now we're just seeing pecs. So now you're seeing the midsection, chest, whatever. So she's making another. Of course, they say, why'd you... So she votes someone off. The host's like, why? She's like, the stance. It was really the stance. I mean, this thing... She thinks that she could figure out who is a good prospective marriage partner just based on the way they're standing.
What are some of these stances? Are they posing? Like, is it we got the double teapot going, or we got, like, are people...
Yeah, it's a lot of that.
Yeah, okay.
It's a lot of that.
Yeah, right.
I mean, my number one question is, and I don't know if they add this in later episodes. I doubt it, but they should. I want the temperature of the studio written on the screen.
Okay, yeah.
Like a little score bug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because remember, like, David Letterman famously kept his studio at, like, you know, I don't know what it was,
-10.
but, like, yeah, like
cold.
Close to 0 Celsius, like cold.
Yeah.
Not fair to these gentlemen that have put themselves out there like
You're
this.
right. 100%.
So then stage 3, we're left with 3 people. We reveal the faces. Okay. She eliminates someone because he's too young.
Okay.
He's 20. And turns out he's 24.
How
and I'm
old
pretty
is
sure
she?
the guy she ends up with is 25. I don't know. I don't remember how old, but just the point of, like, that's why it's like they're trying to make this seem so high-minded. Like, we were all born this way. So what, you know, like, well, the goal of a date is to end up naked. So what if you just start naked from the beginning?
Sure.
And, you know, like, this is the most honest way and putting yourself. It's like, no, this isn't. Look, I'm not clutching my pearls. I don't give a shit. Like, I mean, we got Pornhub out there. Like, this
Yeah.
is not. This is barely counts as titillation these days. But don't even try to pretend that this is like this is some great social experiment that you're running here. You're just showing naked people because that gets ratings.
Right.
It's like, where else is there to go? We've done Love Island. We've done practically people having sex on camera. Let's just go naked.
Yeah.
And is picking off someone's body really ultimately that much more insane than picking someone based off, like, a dumb conversation you have while 8 cameras are filming you on The Bachelor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
Probably
what's the end game here? Like, they send them off on a.
Well, I'm getting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. They just basically send them on a date to, like, a restaurant.
Okay. All right, continue.
But then, right. So now she eliminates this guy. Stage 4, they come out of their things. They talk a bit. She eliminates everyone. But here's where it gets really interesting. Another turn. Stage 5, she becomes naked. The woman that's.
Oh, okay.
If that wasn't clear up till now, she's been fully clothed.
Right.
Now she's naked. So now it's just 2 dudes, completely naked, standing right next to a woman, completely naked, with a host, completely clothed.
Right.
And they're just, like, chatting, and she's like, all right, I think I'll pick Steve. she picked the guy. I forget what his name was, but she picked the guy with the elephant tattoo.
Okay.
And on the date, they seem to be having a great time together.
Okay, but what was the purpose of her getting naked? Just so, like...
Well,
so we could see
I
her
don't
naked?
think there's a purpose beyond then they get to ask the guys, like, hey, she's been sitting here judging you. What do
Right.
you two think of her?
But, okay.
Like she's like, the host is like, yeah, her bushy is a bit full on. Does that bother you? And the guy with the first of all, the guy with the elephant penis tattoo should not be able to say anything about anyone's pubic region.
Yeah.
But he goes like, you know, I don't really have a preference as long as it's not too full on and doesn't go, you know, right from the front all the way around the back. And the host goes, does it go around the back? So she makes the woman turn around.
God.
And so we see her butt, and he's like, as you can see, it doesn't go all the way around the back. And the guy's like, okay, cool.
But he doesn't have a say anyways, does he? Like...
No, I know, I guess. No, he doesn't get to pick her. She still has to pick him.
Right.
Anyway, so then she picks the guy they want. They go on a date. And it's sort of that style where there's 2 people per episode, or at least in this first episode I watched. So then there's a whole other woman. And then this woman the twist was she was bi. So there was, like, 3 men and 3 women on stage.
Okay.
So then she'd have to pick, do I want to go man or woman? She ended up going woman.
Okay.
Just riveting. I mean, I'm not going back for more. Honestly, it's pretty boring once you just get over what the format is, because it's very repetitive.
Right.
I don't know if they change it up in later... I mean, there's multiple seasons, I'm pretty sure, at this point.
Okay.
But anyways, this is the decline of culture, JD. This is where we're at now. It makes me want to go out and buy a Bible so I can thump it.
Okay.
So are you going to watch this?
You know what? I might dip into episode 2 since I know how episode 1. Although I am curious to see this elephant tattoo. So.
No, it's worth seeing.
Yeah,
it's worth seeing.
Okay.
All right. Tune in. You gonna watch with the kids?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Some quick housekeeping. To support the show, please go to patreon.com/isthisgood. You could do a free trial there as well. And you might want to use that free trial this week because the live stream hangout is this Thursday.
Yes.
At 8:30 p.m. It is a week late. Obviously, we were not doing any shows for the last couple weeks. But we are going to get it in this week. That's Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And we did tape it last time, actually.
We did, and we posted it in the Patreon page, so you can catch it later. There was talk about us doing a...
People didn't like it?
What? No, people liked it, I think.
People didn't like it?
Yeah, people were fine with it. But there was talk of us doing a more European time slot.
So a more European thing. So where we're all naked.
That's right. Everybody's naked. You can't come in unless.
Okay, everyone, point your camera at just your penis. Then we'll eliminate one person from the Zoom. Then we'll pull the camera up. We'll see what our midsections look like.
God, can you imagine?
It's the purest way to live stream.
Yeah.
So yes, we will be doing that again this Thursday. That's October 5th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. If you'd like to buy merch, go to isthisgoodpod.com. Sorry, continue. What happened?
No, I'm saying that we were talking about doing a Zoom hangout at a more European-friendly time.
Okay, so what would that be then?
I don't know, but it's not going to be this time because we're a week late. But we'll have to talk about it. We'll have to figure out the exact right time to do it. But it's going to have to be...
Well, honestly, it would probably be like noon or 1 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be, like, if it's a noon, it's 9 a.m. here. Which is fine, I guess.
It's fine.
Okay.
The Europeans want to hang out, is all I'm saying. They just want to hang out.
They're so bored over there. They're so bored they need to make poor people go naked on stage in order to judge their dongs, their willies.
Yeah.
So they need this entertainment.
That's right.
It's humbling to think that if we had always done our live streams at European times, then they would never have come up with this show because they would have been so entertained.
Yeah.
All right, so send me emails, isthisgoodpod@gmail.com, and subscribe on YouTube. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Last time we did this show, I remember I said there were 332 ratings.
Okay.
And I said it better get closer to 400. It's now at, what do you think it's at now?
575.
Oh, my God. Why would you say that?
I don't know.
Well, it's just going to make me look stupid.
What?
Okay, let me try it again. It's now at, what do you think, JD?
I don't know, 342?
Oh, very interesting. It is above that, 356.
Wow.
That's a great guess.
Wow,
It's a great guess. I'm glad that was your first guess. All right, so I just had a quick bit of follow-up here. You remember we talked about work wives with CJ Toledano?
Yes.
And at first he was like, oh, that's the problem, until he sort of figured it out. And he was like, maybe that's not so great. But, an AITA, an Am I the Asshole on Reddit, caught my eye this week. And the headline was, Am I the asshole for not wanting my husband to sleep in the same hotel as his so-called work wife?
Hotel room or hotel?
Okay, well, you'll have to listen. Well, the headline said same hotel. So I was like, all right. I mean, they're going on a work trip.
Yeah.
Where else are they going to stay? Right. So far, I'm leaning she's the asshole, or at least the unreasonable one. Right. But let's read what she wrote. My husband travels a lot for work, and I recently found out one of his coworkers calls herself his work wife. My husband was the one to tell me about it, saying how he wasn't really comfortable with the name, but deals with it since he doesn't want to upset her. Mm-hmm. I won't lie, hearing him say someone is calling themselves his work wife really pissed me off. Even though I know I can trust him, it makes my blood boil knowing there's a woman who's at his workplace who definitely knows he has a wife is calling themselves his work wife. So now I'm still like, all right, now I'm even less on your side. Like, who cares? Like, you're married. What? a work wife doesn't mean that the person is not married. It's just like, it's not bigamy to be a work wife.
Right.
Anyways, here we go. Now here we're getting to the important part here. My husband has to go on a work trip, and he has told me that he has to share a room with her.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's just call her Jenna. I told him I wasn't comfortable with him sleeping in the same hotel room as Jenna, and he assured me that it would be fine. I trust him with my life, so I let him go. I feel like I shouldn't be jealous. It's such a stupid thing to be jealous about. Am I the asshole? Now, you might be asking yourself, is this real? Because that is always a question you have to ask yourself with an am I the asshole?
Yeah, that's true.
And in my judgment, you don't have to take my word for it, I do believe this was sincere. Partly because of a follow-up that I will give you in a second.
Okay.
I guess first question, do you believe this? And what is your reaction?
I mean, it's a little hard to believe because I can't imagine, other than The Score circa 2011, a company expecting the coworkers to share a room together. Especially two coworkers who are opposite sex. I mean, it's an unreasonable thing to ask, I think.
Yes. Like, purely from a liability perspective,
yeah.
A work cannot put two people of the opposite sex, especially
right.
in a hotel room together. Right. So obviously people are pointing that out, and some people are like, is this fake, blah, blah. But basically what people are saying is like, he's lying to you.
Right.
Like, this doesn't make any sense. The only way that two people would be sharing a room together is if they wanted to share a room together.
Correct.
And then people were like, is this even a work trip? Like, are you sure about that? Right. Is he just going on vacation with his person he's having an affair with?
Yeah.
And if it is, though, that I think it's insane that he would tell her that lie. Why wouldn't you just say, there's a work trip coming up?
Yeah.
Why would you say we have to stay in the same room? That part does raise my spidey senses. But then anyways, you can put an edit on these Reddit posts after people have responded to you. So this is what the edit says. Thank you everyone for so much support. Since I'm basically finding out my husband might be cheating on me. I won't be on here for a while just to relax a bit before he gets back and try to process everything. I will update when I can. Thanks so much. I think that this woman was very naive and just through asking this question realized that her husband is cheating.
Wow. What a weird way to cheat on your spouse, though. Like,
I know that is the one. I mean, unless this guy's just as naive and stupid, like, why would that be your lie? That's
right.
my one sticking point.
Yeah. Maybe
I don't know. Weird thing to make up. The edit kind of like her sincerity of it made me feel like she was just like one of those things where it's like, you know the truth deep down, but you just can't bring yourself to admit it.
Right. Yeah.
So you post it being like, well, maybe everyone else will tell me I'm crazy, and then I'll feel better about the fact that my wife is stooping his coworker on this trip. Jenna.
It's very strange. Very, very strange.
Very strange.
Maybe he gets off on the fact that it's happening right under her nose. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, she's so stupid. My wife is so stupid, she's going to buy this story.
How dumb is she?
She thinks that my work is making me stay with a woman, my work wife. Ugh, God. Yeah, work wife's not good.
Not good. Well, I mean, especially in this case, I would say. Anything else that you had a hankering to bring up? I have one thing that I've been wanting to talk to you about, but I'm not sure if we should just save it for next time, because we took that little break, I've lost track of how long we've been doing this show for. It's been what, 3 days by my count?
Yeah, 3 days. 3 days.
Yeah.
I'll throw it in.
Okay. That's probably enough.
You
want to hear about it?
Yeah, I want to hear about it. I'm curious.
Okay. So this is from The Guardian. I read this a couple weeks ago, but obviously we haven't talked in a while. So the headline is, Inside the Dolphin Sex Scandal That Outraged a Nation. Does this sound familiar to you? It happened in 1990.
No, it doesn't.
And you were living in Europe, I think, at the time.
I was, yeah.
Okay, well, I just want to present this as in the running for one of the best leads ever written in an article. Okay, here we go. When someone mentions the year 1990, you might think of the last days of Margaret Thatcher, the Satanic Verses,
sure,
poll tax, recession, and the IRA. Or You just might think of a man in the northeast of England getting arrested for masturbating a dolphin. Okay,
Wow.
Are you interested to hear more?
I can't wait to hear more of this.
Okay. Okay, so in Northumberland, England, which I gather is like a very sort of working class, like factory, you know, maybe dreary, maybe that's unfair to say, but it's not, you know, the north of England's.
Yeah.
I think even they know it's dreary.
Yeah.
It's dreary love it in it.
Yeah. The last place on earth you'd think to find a dolphin to masturbate.
Okay. You could have just stopped at dolphin. I think, wait, so you're telling me there's places in the world where you'd be like, oh, that makes sense as a place where a guy could jerk off a dolphin?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's one thing to find a dolphin. You can find a dolphin. There's dolphins here in Atlanta. But to whack one off, like, that's hard. That's hard to find.
It's very, very hard. Very hard in all senses. All right, so a dolphin appears.
Yeah.
And people are freaking out. Like, what have we done to be so blessed by the Lord himself that he sent this dolphin, this playful being, this gentle creature of God's green earth, and is sort of shifting everyone's perspective. So people start flocking to town. In the article, it says, you know, suddenly alongside out-of-work miners and struggling fishermen, the harbor was swarmed with women in bikinis, new-age hippies with dolphin tattoos and crystals, Southerners who couldn't understand anybody's accent, and at one point, a man in a caftan sitting on the harbor wall playing a didgeridoo for hours. Well, I guess I changed my mind. The dolphin kind of did fuck things up in this town. Anything that encourages didgeridoo-ness, not great. Anyways, so there's this guy named Alan Cooper. He's an animal rights activist, right?
Yeah.
So he starts going in the water and swimming with the dolphin.
Okay.
And he's trying to sort of raise awareness for dolphins in captivity and how, like, hey, look at this beautiful creature. This is how it should be. Mm-hmm. Just dolphins with their throbbing hard cocks out in the wild. Not like those dolphins with these semis in captivity. You know, remember?
Yeah.
Remember Blackfish?
Yeah.
With the killer whale and how like they're saying like in captivity their fins just like doop, like go over to the side because I don't know, they're so fucking depressed living in a tank, and then the people at SeaWorld were like, no, it's completely normal. So I like to think that in captivity a dolphin cannot get an erection.
Yeah.
Without stuffing some Viagra in some smelt.
Yeah.
And throwing that in.
Yeah.
All right, so he's like, dolphins in the wild are good. Dolphins in captivity are bad. Look at this dolphin, and you will realize that we should not be keeping dolphins in captivity. And now there's this thing called the Flamingo Land Dolphinarium that's nearby in the north of England, and Cooper's trying to have it shut down, right?
Right.
But here's where it goes wrong. There's people out in the water looking for the dolphin, and they're like, oh, there's a dolphin. There's old animal rights activist Alan Cooper swimming with the dolphin. And they report an incident to the police.
Okay.
Now, the quote from Alan Cooper, this direct quote, he says, Freddy's the dolphin. Freddy was his usual self, sometimes hooking me with his penis to the leg or arm. It was all perfectly normal, to me at least. Okay, well, you know who wasn't perfectly normal to seeing the dolphin's penis hook his leg or arm? The people in this boat. They were like, shiver me timbers. That man is jerking off a dolphin.
Yeah.
Not a dolphin, the dolphin. We only got one dolphin here.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but here's where it gets interesting. There's this guy named Peter Bloom. He's the owner of the Flamingo Land Dolphinarium, the place where they keep in these dolphins in captivity.
Yeah.
Now, he speaks to the police as an expert and says, yeah, this guy's fucked up. This guy jerked off that dolphin for sure. So now people are sort of asking, did he frame the guy? Because he certainly had a motive.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it says, so this is all a podcast, by the way, called Hooked on Freddy. I don't know if it's out yet. I'm doing a lot of advertising for this podcast.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is a very funny and interesting story.
Yeah, totally.
It says, there's a line in the article where it says, there's a moment in the podcast where you hear Cooper recount how the police officers who later interviewed him couldn't keep a straight face when repeating the accusation that he had been, quote, wanking off a dolphin. So I think you got a lot here. You got some serious stuff like animal rights, conservation,
right.
You know, animals in captivity. And then you got some, you know, court proceedings. You got the police involved. But at the end of the day, this is about a man allegedly jerking off a dolphin.
Right.
So I was just curious if you had come across that story. You haven't, but
I haven't.
1990. What a time
we're talking,
to be alive.
This
is 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've heard one story about one man jerking off any dolphin since.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's a cautionary tale back then, I guess, because you don't want to be caught doing that. I don't think. Animal rights activists.
So what you're saying is the problem is not the doing it. The problem is being seen doing it.
Well, I mean, he's an animal rights activist, and I guess he believes that the dolphin has a right to get jerked off by a guy. I mean, you did say the dolphin was by itself.
Well, to be clear, he says he did not do it.
Okay.
You don't believe him.
Well, I don't know what to believe. It doesn't sound like he was.
Opinion.
Well, you said that he was like that. He got hooked on his leg by the penis.
Now, this is where I should have looked up. Just how big is a dolphin's penis, and would it have survived the first round of naked attraction? the panel comes up. They're like, "Okay, yeah, I do see a flipper.
Right.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, a fin, a blowhole. Okay.
Well,
you wouldn't each their own.
You wouldn't see the blowhole. Come on now.
Oh, not yet. That would be second phase. You'd have to make the second phase to see the blowhole. But he does have a great penis.
Yeah. I don't know much about the anatomy of dolphins, but I do know this for sure. They're not whacking themselves off. Like, how could they?
How would they?
Yeah.
Okay. Rub it against like an anemone.
Okay.
Like a sea sponge.
Well, that's no, because that would be that's another living creature. That's somebody, that's interspecies sexual contact.
Holy shit.
What?
I just Googled it. They got big penises.
Wow.
This is the thing where it's like, It says male dolphin penises range in length from something almost as long as an arm to a penis as long as a table in killer whales. Okay, so as long as an arm.
Well, it's pretty long. It's pretty big.
That makes sense when he says it was hooking it around my arm and leg.
Yeah.
That does make sense.
Maybe he was the victim of this. He was assaulted by the dolphin.
Unfortunately, that's one of those things where it's like you go into the forest to hunt a bear. The bear eats you. They're like, well, what?
Right.
You were in its habitat.
That's
I think this is one of those things where if a dolphin does decide to do some frottage, that you have no claim, either criminal or civil.
Right. Yeah.
You just have to take the L on that one.
You should not be swimming with dolphins.
All right, well, if anyone's listening to this podcast, let us know. Let us know how it ends. Let us know if he did it or if the dastardly Peter Bloom, owner of the Flamingo Land Dolphinarium, framed a man for wanking off a dolphin.
So great.
So great. What a story. All right, we'll end there. Listen to next week's show. That's coming out Monday, October 9th. That's with Jay Skeets, the final episode of the Summer of Dunks. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we'll move on to be having a plethora of hilarious and fun guests, just like we did before the summer. Email us at isthisgoodpod@gmail.com. Subscribe everywhere. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Again, thank you for your support of Tass. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to his family. Tassie, we love you. We'll be excited to see you soon. And we wish you the best. So that's it for today. Again, we'll come back next Monday. Thanks for bearing with us as we scattered our way through this podcast. I couldn't even come up with a fucking correct phrase to say we didn't do so good. We didn't start at point A and go to point B. I'm sorry if that's how you like your podcast. Clean, crisp, to the point, okay? We started at point A, we meandered.
That's right.
To point 2, It was alpha and numeric. It was alphanumeric. There was Morse code involved.
Exactly.
All right? But we got through it. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. This was JD and Matt reaching out from the great beyond. We'll see you next week.